Hi, hello everyone. Welcome to Scratch. So, if you've logged into your Scratch, you'll see something very similar to this. You'll have your own name up here, and I'm going to go into Create. Okay, so I'm just going to create a blank project. I'm going to give my project a name. I'm going to call it my first project. Okay, now if you have validated your email address, when you press Share, it'll give you an option to share your project, which means not only can you share the link with someone, copy the link address, you can embed it in a website, but you can also share it with your teacher if you're submitted through homework. Okay, so let's go back into our project, see what's inside it. So at the moment we have nothing in here. You can see there's three main areas to it. We have an area where your sprite and your project will appear, and you have down below this you have options for building sprites and also for adding backdrops. In the middle is where you'll build your code, and on your left hand side you have three options for the code, the costumes of your sprite, and the sounds associated with your sprite. Okay, so we're going to go through some very simple ones. So I'm going to get rid of this sprite and I'm going to add in a new sprite. So you can upload a sprite if you have a picture you want to upload. You can edit surprise, yeah. You can draw a sprite, or you can search for a sprite. Now, when you search for a sprite, if you hover over them, some of the sprites will move. Any sprite that moves is an animated sprite, and they're probably the ones you'll want to use a lot of. So I'm going to use Avery because she walks. So let's bring Avery in. So there she is now. When I click on her, anything I put in here belongs to Avery's code. Okay, let's put a background in. So again, I can upload a background, surprise background, painted background, or search. So let's put Avery walking on the beach in Rio. There she is. Okay, so first of all, with Avery, I can reduce Avery's size if I want to. Okay, so you can highlight different parts of Avery, and you can change bits of Avery if you don't like the color of things. I can make it different colors. So you can play around with it. You know better than me how to deal with these. And as you can see, there's 4 versions of Avery. And these 4 versions are important because, as you can see, each of those 4 versions has a different color option. Okay, so that means if I run through them all very quickly, I can get Avery to walk very fast. So that sounds, I can add sounds to Avery. So let's do some very simple things with Avery. Let's make her walk. So to start, we're using an event block. I always tend to use the green block when I'm starting off coding until I get used to it. But as you can see, there's other options. You can, when you click a particular button, when you touch the sprite with your mouse, when the background changes, when the loudness changes, when you get a message, when you broadcast a message. But we'll start with this simple one. It's the easiest one to work with. So I'm going to use a forever block. So this will keep doing whatever is inside here forever. So let's just put move 10 in and see what that does. So as you can see, it moves and she's gone off the screen. Okay, so let's reset her. So we'll stop the code and we'll reset her. Now, that doesn't look too cool, but what happens if I go into Lux and I go to the next costume, and let's say, just for the sake of argument, I wait 1 second. So now she's walking across at a nice leisurely pace. If I increase that to 2 seconds, stop that, and increase it to 2 seconds, a little bit better. Let's increase it to 10 seconds. Oh, sorry, I'm going the wrong way. Let's make it half a second. Now, there's Avery walking across the beach. So that's a very simple one. Now, let's say instead of doing that, let's just disconnect that for a second. Let's say we want the mouse to interact with Avery. Okay, so if you want to make the mouse interact with Avery, there's a couple of different ways. You can actually tell it to go to the mouse like this. So wherever the mouse is, she just follows the mouse around. Okay, or you can get it to go to a particular. So watch this one. So whichever way the mouse orientates, that's the way she'll orientate. She'll move like the mouse. Okay, that's another way of doing it. Bring that back down. So there's a couple of ways you can play around with that one. But as you can see, I'm just using the same basic blocks all the time. So let's say I want Avery to walk across there, but when she gets to there, I want her to turn around and walk back. How would I do that? So let's get rid of this forever block, and let's add in this forever block. So I want to move her across, and I want to move her back again. So at the moment, let's say I make that 0.25. Let's see what happens. She's walking across. Watch what happens when she gets to the end. So she just goes into a glitch at the end because she doesn't know what to do. So let's bring her back. Now we're going to say if on edge bounce, and now let's see what happens. And there we go. So this means that any sprite that makes it to the edge will bounce back, but this sprite tells it to turn him around. If I didn't have this one, watch what happens. Sorry, I'll stop that and I'll just show you now. That's actually working. Didn't think, but I'll leave that in anyway. But don't rotate. Let's see what happens. Just working backwards. And then if let's see what happens when I go. Oh, watch. Oh, she's just going every which way. So this is probably the nicest way to do it. So there she is interacting. Now, that's a very simple couple of basic things you could actually do. Now, let's